Hey everybody, it's me, Shell360, and I have got Taemin albums to unbox, which I feel bad because I have not yet unboxed Key's album. I have ordered it. It took a long time. Let me tell you the story about the Key albums because I just want to get that out there because I don't want to seem like I'm practicing favoritism because I think it's fairly obvious that of all the shiny solos, Key's solos tend to be the ones I have the most mixed feelings about. And it's not necessarily that I have mixed feelings about his solos because they're not good. It's just that Key explores so many different genres of music that sometimes I feel like I don't know what expectation to have with Key's album, so it takes me a bit to get into it. And like I'll have favorites on an album, but albums as a whole from Key tend to be, like I said, a mixed bag, even though I really liked Killer. But anyway, I am losing the point. So I have one Key album here. I have more coming, but I have one. Let me tell you what happened. Catch Up CD is the website I normally use to order a lot of my stuff. As a backup, if I can't get it at Catch Up CD, then I'll order it from kpopdown.com. And Catch Up CD only had like two Key albums in stock. They were having a hard time getting the other versions of the album. So I put myself on a wait list because usually I have, like I said, I have really good luck with catchupcd.net. And so I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited and nothing came in. And so when Taemin's album came out, it was the day of the album release. I go to Catch Up CD to order his album. I go to look, and this was literally the only version of Key's album that they had in stock at the time. So I got it along with the Taemin albums, and then I went to kpoptown.com and I ordered the rest of the albums through them. But yeah, it's not that I did not want to get Key's album in a timely manner. I totally wanted to. I just waited a really long time for Catch Up CD to get their albums in stock. And irony of ironies, the Work ID version of Key's album, I got a notification in my inbox today, that it is now in stock, even though I ordered it on Thursday of last week. And actually, I got Taemin's album super fast. Guys, I ordered these albums on a Thursday. They came in on Friday. The only reason why I didn't film them for you guys is because I had other shit to do that day, and then over the weekend, I did not feel very good. So that's the reason why I did not film Friday, even though I've had these literally for a week. So, well, not a week, but a weekend. So let's just get started. First, I should talk about this album and how I feel about this mini album because I have a couple of things to say. So let's start with the track list. Guilty is a song that to me sounds like typical Taemin fare, even though I did remember thinking when I heard the song that it sounded like a sulgy song. I don't know why, but I felt like I would be really down for seeing Taemin and Sulgi swap title tracks and Taemin do 28 Reasons and Sulgi do Guilty. And then later on, it was confirmed by the writer of the song that the demo was filmed, that the demo was recorded in female verse and female voice. So initially it was a girl song. But Taemin, being the pansexual god that he is, decided that he wanted to swing things his way. And yeah, I really like the song. I thought the video was okay. The video had absolutely nothing to do, in my opinion, with the trailers that we saw for this. So the trailer or the teaser for the video was Taemin looking to be in like an all boys school, like a boys reformatory school, and then being like psychologically abused into committing a crime that had to do with a gun. And the video had the same setting as the teaser images, but that storyline seemed to have been abandoned for the video. Which, why are we doing this? I mean, we're in new SM. Let's just talk about that for a second. We're in new SM, and I expect things to be done in a new way. Now, I know that SM is going through a lot of issues because of Kakao being under investigation for bad business practices in their acquisition of SM. Isuman is no longer at the helm. There's a lot of things that SM is trying that are not necessarily their strong suits. But at the end of the day, they are the only people that I know of who are still releasing teasers for music videos that have fuck all to do with what actually happens in the music video. And I think we need to stop that. I would love to see a storyline music video from Taemin, like a really storyline driven music video. I don't think we've had one of those from him since Pressure Number. But again, just like with Solgi with 28 Reasons, we got this teaser that looked like it was going to be kind of a psychological murder mystery, don't know what's going to go on. And the video just really had nothing at all to do with that. And I'm kind of tired of it. I really am. I'm kind of sick of it. I kind of think it's old hat. I think it's stupid that they keep doing this, getting people's expectations up, and then decided to do something else. So, I don't know if the powers that be at SM are listening to me at all, but like, if you're going to commit to giving us a teaser that looks like you're really going to tell a story, tell the fucking story. You've already filmed the footage. Do what you used to do. Do like a video that is a drama video, then do a choreography video, and then do a mixture video. Do you guys remember TVXQ's, oh gosh, what's the name of it? It's not to Keep Your Head Down, but it's Before You Go. Does anybody remember TVXQ's Before You Go? I know that is a super second generation question to ask, but TVXQ has a song called Before You Go. It's an amazing R&B, slow jam, midnight storm type of song. And in the video, there is a full-on 10-minute Law and Order style storyline. It's basically a mini movie, and it's about this guy whose sister is kidnapped and he's forced to work for a crime family in order to rescue his sister. And because he's on the police force, he's betraying the police force in order to be able to get his sister out of this whole mafia thing. But other cops, basically Chungmin and know that he's black. He's basically betraying the police, and at the end of it, they're able to crack everything open, and the mafia guys aren't able to win. But I think his sister dies in the end anyway, and he's at a standoff with Chungmin, and it's very drama. It's very drama. But they did separate videos. They did choreography, they did a Quiet Storm video, and then they did the regular video that's like the long form drama. I love that shit. I am here for shit like that. Even Taemin for Pressure Number, they did like a storyline video. They did like plain choreography in like the canals in LA, and then they did another one that I think was like a dance version. But yeah, give us versions of the video. If you're gonna film a drama, like, give us the drama. I want to see it. But anyway, I digress. So the track listing. So there is Guilty, like I said, which I had issues with the video, but I have enjoyed watching the challenges. I love the fact that Minho and Key both did the challenge. I mean, who was doubting that they would? I knew that they would. But Minho and Key doing the challenges was so funny because watching them do Taemin's choreography, it's very obvious what everyone's personalities are like. So Key did Taemin's choreography with a lot more force and like strong aggressive sexuality. Minho basically did it like, I'm gonna be as sexy as the choreography calls for, but at the same time, my mama might be watching this. So he doesn't go as aggressive with the thrust. And I just thought that was so funny, like that you could see their personality in the way that they do Taemin's choreo. Also, it's funny that it was revealed that Minho had spoiled Guilty, but none of us caught it during the Shiny World tours. So that was fun. And then I enjoyed seeing like all the promos that Taemin did with his fans. I thought that the segment he did with Hoshi from 17 was super cute, where Hoshi was like trying to get Taemin to like fall for him, being a character from like a TV drama, and Taemin's like, nah, I know this is a fan. I'm not falling for it. They're gonna try to hook me up with a guy. And it's funny because he's like, I'm not gonna fall for it. I know you're a guy. And then at the end, he's like, I could date someone like Hoshi. And it's like, girl. Anyway, and then they did another one with like a bunch of debut or like rookie idols where they all had to like text message and try to guess who is the what do they call it? Like, who's the spoiler, or like who is the imposter? Who is the imposter? And Taemin gets outed in the end. But it's so funny because when they revealed that they had been texting with Taemin this whole time, one of them like literally falls out of his seat, like could not believe that he was talking to Taemin. But the stuff they had to say about why Taemin was their inspiration was so incredibly sweet. And it was such a nice thing to hear because really and truly, a lot of these kids that are coming into the industry now were born either right before Taemin debuted or in some cases right after he debuted because he's been an idol for over 16 years. So yeah, if you're talking about some of these groups that have like still in high school members, then this is literally a 16-year idol. And that's something that I have to say is really beautiful. It's really beautiful that after 16 years, Taemin is still finding new ways to express himself. He's still finding new ways to engage with audiences. He spent a lot of time thanking people who had been with him, with Shiny, for many, many years. But he also made it a point to, like, if you just got here 3 years ago, thank you for being here because literally you met me right before I had to leave and you waited for me to come back. And that's really special. And I very much appreciate that. And I thought it was a really great thing to say because I don't think that new fans get thought up enough when it comes to these type of situations. A lot of times when musicians talk about thank you to our fans for standing by us for so long, yeah, there are fans who have stood by you for a really long time, but there are people, if you're lucky, who are constantly discovering your group. And it's nice to make them feel like you're just as valuable, you're just as wanted, you're just as appreciated. We're glad to have you here. So that's what I have to say about Guilty. Next, the Rizness. I had no expectations for what the Rizness was going to be. And when I heard it, I was just like, wow, the military has changed Taemin. I guess maybe he was listening to different music while he was in the military. Maybe like the guys at the police station were listening to different things because he was public service officer. But yeah, I've never heard Taemin rap like that before. And yeah, it was very modern of him to do this. It doesn't really necessarily have replay value for me, but hearing someone in the comments say that it goes hard on TikTok, I totally see that. I totally see TikTok using this. I saw I saw a tweet from someone where they said, whenever the Rizness starts, they think of like that that thing, that's what they think of when they hear the intro to the Rizness. And I'm like, yes, yes, I see it. My own daughter confirmed. But yeah, I think that the Rizness was a cool experimentation thing for him. I'm glad to see him do it. I don't want a whole album of that. But then I was also thinking about Black Rose from the Advice, or not Criminal, from Criminal. And I was like, this matches. This works. This, yeah, yeah. When I think about Criminal and I think of Black Rose in particular, which was a song that he did with a rapper on that album, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense to me. So yeah, I am excited to see more of hip hop Taemin. Okay, she loves me not. I told my daughter this is Taemin doing his Olivia Rodrigo thing, and I'm really psyched about that. Like that's also another sound we don't get a lot of. A little bit of it reminded me of Two Kids. Actually, I think probably not Over You reminds me more of Two Kids, but still, I really thought that it was interesting to see him tackle more of like a rock sound on the album than he normally does. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. Again, probably not something I would replay a lot, but still, I was excited. Not Over You, I thought was okay. Again, it reminded me a little bit more of Two Kids, and I was never a big fan of Two Kids, so I can't say that it was for me. Night Away, I thought Night Away was really cool. I like Night Away a lot. I also really like Blue a lot. I thought Blue was beautiful. I thought Blue was super beautiful. So overall, while this mini album is a little bit less consistently sex dungeon music for me, which is what I've come to know Taemin for, I still think that I'm excited about his foray into different musical spaces. You know, Taemin is somebody who I think because he debuted so early, we sometimes forget that he's not old. Yes, he just got out the military, but Taemin is not old, and because of that, he's still got a lot of time left in his knees, in his hips, a lot of time left in his head, and a lot of cultural time too. As a man who's just in his early 30s, he's still got a lot of time to be a part of the zeitgeist. And so I hope he continues to find ways to make his music interesting, to bring in new audiences, to be a part of the scene that he deserves to be a part of. Because, Taemin is the same age as a lot of the people in BTS. I have not watched the interview he did with Jimin and Suga from BTS yet. I just haven't had time. But, that's his peer group right there. And so I'm really, really pleased to see him explore music that his peer group is also exploring. I think that's beautiful. And I think it's something that he deserves. Idolhood has stolen a lot from Taemin, and Taemin actually said it was really nice to take a break from idolhood to do his military service. Not that he would volunteer to do it again, but he said, he kind of needed that time. And I imagine that that time that he took away, he used that time to listen to music instead of constantly thinking about what his next project is going to be and trying to build a concept for the next for the next album, then do the shiny stuff, then do the Japanese stuff, then go back to do something in Korea. Instead, he got a time to breathe, knowing that I've still got several months before I have to put something out there. Let me see what's on the radio. What are people listening to? Let me watch some music videos. Let me do some dance challenges at the house. Let me start learning some of this TikTok stuff. Just things that elevate his artistry, but contemporize his artistry to make it to where he's more of an artist of today than an artist of several years ago. And so I feel like this was a great start to that, and I look forward to seeing what the next project is going to be, because sometimes I feel like SM is an echo chamber, and you gotta get out there. You gotta live some life in order to be able to put some life into your music. All right, so I've talked enough about the track list. Now let's get into the unboxings. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 albums here. Let's start with this little thing. This is the Hopefully you can see it. This is the Guilty SM Schmini, and it's got a picture of Taemin in his schoolboy uniform, and then we're going to open it up, and I'm probably going to say some unpopular things about that particular concept. So Taemin has a schoolboy kind of look going on here, school uniform thing, reformatory school thing, and I just got through saying Taemin is a man in his 30s. So this is what the inside of the Schmini looks like. I don't necessarily think that schoolboy is where I want to see him at in his 30s. But that's the thing about the fact that so much of Taemin's actual youth was spent with SM. Maybe there's this longing, if you will, that he didn't get a chance to have those high school years and really be a part of that time. So that's why he's revisiting it in his art. But yeah, a man in his 30s dressed in a schoolboy uniform, I find that to be a little odd, about as odd as I would if it was a 30-year-old woman dressed in schoolgirl uniform with pigtails. I'd be like, you seem a little bit too mature to be rocking that particular concept. So this is the back of the Schmini, and as you can see, the schoolboy tie, and then another schoolboy behind him, and then again the schoolboy outfit, even though at this point he could be a teacher at said school. And then this is the photograph on the photo card that I got, and then this is the back of the photo card. And people were saying how he has a different signature for this comeback than his usual signature. So I find that to be interesting. I'd never really paid much attention, but yeah. I like his hair here. I think that this length of hair and honestly this color of hair is really flattering. I hope that he decides to keep it for a little bit longer. I wouldn't mind if he wanted to go longer for sure, but I think that color especially, I really like that. I'm kind of excited to have a comeback with Taemin that's not involving blonde at some point, because Taemin, he is the king of hair color like this one day of the comeback, hair color something else the next day of the comeback. So I'm really, really excited that, he decided to stay brown throughout the whole thing. Whether it was lighter brown or darker brown, he stayed brown. Next, we have the Digipack. Says guilty. I think this is the photo that is no. I was gonna say I think this is the photo that's used on Spotify, but no, the photo that's used on Spotify is the biting of the pear photo. That's what they're using there. So let's open this up and see what's happening. Getting some scissors because I don't have fingernails right now. Like, I literally have fingernails. Like, I'm not some person who pulled my fingernails out. Hey, David! I hope you're doing well, too. I just don't have long fingernails, so I can't pierce plastic right now. So that's why I'm relying on. Ooh! Ooh! Okay. So, I don't know if you could tell. Maybe you cannot. But this writing on here is raised. It's textured, so when you feel it, you can feel it. That's cool. And then schoolboy uniform again, which, I've heard people say that the netizens had a big problem with this concept, basically with one of these packages. And to what I've heard is like the rebuttal is that they have a problem with Taemin creating a concept that has to do with sexual guilt or, eroticism guilt, kink guilt, whatever else. And they said it kind of borders on not pedophilia, but it borders on inappropriate. And people have said, well, I didn't remember y'all hollering about inappropriate when he was half naked doing the Sherlock covers. I agree. But I also feel like provocation has always been a part of what Taemin does. I don't know if y'all remember the poster from Pressure Number and the version of Pressure Number where Taemin is making out with himself. But I feel like provocation is a thing that he's always enjoyed. He has a song called Sexuality on that album as well. And he's always kind of pushed the button on, his gender image, speaking about his proclivities. So this is not surprising. But also, I feel like, again, with him being 30 and doing this, it kind of reminds me of this Kenny video. There's a black girl, I think her name is Kenny JD. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me. But she does like bad movies in a beat. And it's a series on YouTube where she does movie reviews while she does her makeup. She's a beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. She's around the same age as Taemin too, I believe. Anyway, she was talking about why she doesn't enjoy watching Euphoria, and it's because she doesn't like to see images of sexualized high schoolers. And even though the actors that are playing these high schoolers are adults, and we're seeing naked adults engaging in sexual situations, the preposition of the whole deal is that we're watching kids be sexually intimate with each other. And even though Taemin may be an adult, so perving on an adult might not seem as unacceptable, he is framing this as you're looking at a teen boy. And there are a couple of images that, if we're supposed to be imagining that this is a teen boy, are very uncomfortable. There's one image in particular of his pants and his underwear on the ground that you can't help but be like, what the fuck? What? Why are we taking a photo of this? So, I don't know. A little weird. Then here's a picture of him kind of locked up behind bars. Again, like I said, the whole kind of reform school look. And then here is the CD, that's the CD right there. And I'm in front of my computer, so you saw the reflection of that. It is basically the headdress outfit. That's what the little picture on the CD is. It's the headdress outfit that you saw right here. It's that same outfit. And then there is probably a booklet and a photo card in here. I have not seen any unboxings. I haven't even seen the unboxing of the shoebox that everyone's talking about. Okay, the photo card here is the boy photo card. He very much looks like a boy in this picture. This is the youngest I've seen Taemin look in a long time. Wow, that's that's very boyish. So this is the image that they're using on Spotify for the album. This image right here, which I'm looking at everything we have here, and I'm wondering why none of these have this as the cover. There's different covers. None of them are this cover. That's interesting. There's an advertisement here for Kwangya Superstar SM Town. I guess is still a thing, which is surprising because I know a lot of the Superstar games aren't active anymore. And then, let's see, is there anything else in here that I need to be looking at? No, this is all stills from the teaser video. So it's photos of him in the car, photos of him with blood on his knees, in his uniform, uh, more uniform pictures. Yeah, these are all basically photos from the teaser concept. I don't really see as much from the parts of the music video that were more choreography driven. So yeah, that is the Digipack, which the Digipack is a fine alternative for people who want a CD but don't want a lot of packaging. I'm not a big fan of all of these different versions. I understand why it's done because the market asks for it and they're able to sell it. Like, let's be honest, capitalism says people are willing to buy 5 and 6 copies of albums because they feel like they need to do that to support their fave. I'm one of those people who buys 5 and 6 copies of albums, so I can't necessarily badmouth something I'm actively engaged in. But I will say this. I feel like the only good thing out of having multiple versions of albums the way that SM does it is that if you're somebody who wants to collect an artist and you don't have room for this thing right here, you might have room for this. This still gives you the CD, this still gives you photographs, this still gives you a photo card, but it's very thin and it doesn't take up a lot of room. Therefore, it's easy to keep on your shelf. So in that respect, I do appreciate the different formats. Or if you're somebody who's like, I have no room at all, I need something that just gives me the music, you can do this as long as your shmini works. My Onu shmini still does not work. It still does not work. And I have not heard back from anybody about whether or not they've been able to use theirs. I've talked about it a couple of different times about how like I bought the Onu shmini for his last release. And it don't work for Dice. No, not Dice. Dice, his last release. Anyway, bought the shmini for that. To this day, still doesn't work with the app. Don't know what the fuck's going on. All right, now we're getting to the magazine versions. There's 2 magazine versions. We're going to do this magazine version first, and then this is the back of that magazine version, which, again, kind of sexy, but it reminds me of Fiona Apple's Criminal video. Don't know why. And this kitchen looks like the same kitchen that Red Velvet was in for the birthday photos. Don't know why. So we're opening it up to get to the goodies because that's really what y'all came here for. Y'all didn't come here to listen to me talk. Y'all came here for the goodies. Oh, the photo card fell on the floor. Okay, so the photo card is Taemin in a tan t-shirt, giving the peace sign. Again, he looks super duper young here. Really, really young. Another one, the advertisements. Okay. Um, how do I do this? Okay. There is a film strip in here. I've not seen any unboxings of this album. This film strip is really catching me off guard. Give me just a second. I'm going to put a white piece of paper so that you can see what I'm seeing. This is the film strip. Here's the paper so you can see the half nakedness kind of going on here. That's different. I was not expecting that. It's just his back, but again, the formatting of this feels very like boy Lolita. That's the vibe we're getting from this. Very much boy Lolita. Then this is the Guilty CD case. And then the clothes on the couch, which those clothes look like they're laid there intentionally. Unlike the underwear photos where the underwear is on the ground. Oh, This CD looks different. This CD is, I think this is a yucca cactus on here. That's cool. I actually really like that. That's really pretty. Cool, cool, cool. And then there's a poster in here, which I'm glad that they put the folded poster in here because I contacted Catch It CD to ask if there were posters I could buy, and they said there were no posters for me to buy. This is the poster. I mean, this poster's all right. I would not hang this on my wall because it's not a face-on photo, and it kind of doesn't look like him a little bit. So I'm looking through this here. I can see the pear and the toy car. Okay, so these photographs take place in a diner. Yeah, these almost look like, it almost looks like he's in the same desert that they filmed Ice Cream Cake at. That look, it's like a diner. Yeah, a diner and the desert. He's eating grapes in a photograph, laying on the ground. He's got a shirt hyped up in this picture so you can see his waistline, which I saw somebody on Twitter using the phrase slutty waist, and I'm just like, is that a thing we're saying nowadays? Another one of him being like, do you want to see? Do you want to see? Yeah. Boy Lolita. Like, what the fuck is this? I'm not saying anything bad about what Taemin's choosing to do with his art. I'm just saying you're not beating these accusations that you're trying to be a little bit salacious. More tummy work, which that's part of the choreography, but still. What's this picture? What's this bottle? What's this picture? I don't normally go through the photographs in the photo book whenever I do my unboxings, if you will. Normally, I just keep going, but yeah, a lot of suggestions of things here. A lot of suggestions of things. If that fucking underwear photo is in this one, like, also, does this not look like he's hiked up? Doesn't look hiked up? Okay, okay. I watch too much BL. It's just me. Okay, so he's in America or something because I see white people. In the mirror, half naked selfies again. I'm guessing they're in LA. This must be California outside of LA. That's the vibe I'm getting here. Yeah, just more boy stuff. Okay, so there are two versions of this magazine version of the album. I decided to do the tame version because there is a not tame cover that kind of excuse me, I'm kind of worried about showing it on camera. I don't want no problems. I don't want no troubles. I don't want my FBI agent to start knocking on my door because I didn't do anything wrong. These were not sold as restricted materials, and they came through the postal service, so like I'm really not trying to go to jail. This is the other album cover. This finger in the mouth with the ice. This is the other album cover. This is a lot, Taemin. You're doing a lot, Taemin. You really are doing a lot. Could we calm down? Could we maybe not do this? Okay, let's get this thing open. I can't believe I'm taking the whole plastic off. Normally I like try to just slip the top and then slide it out, but I'm not going to do that. Also, I didn't mention this, but all these covers are glossy. Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. I feel so, I feel, I I don't want to feel like I am outing myself. I don't want to feel like I'm revealing that I'm nasty. But I feel like if you buy this version of this album, there's no way you would not. Okay, you see this version of this album? What you can't see on camera you can kind of see it a little bit, is that the word guilty is a little bit glossy. And I'm about to say something really raunchy. Please don't think I'm a nasty person. Like, I'm practically a nun. I'm practically a nun. This looks like the word guilty is written in cum. I'm just, it looks like the word guilty is written in nut. I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. Yes, I read fan fiction, but I'm not a bad person. But it is a it is a translucent white kind of liquid look that's glossy. All right, okay, let's look at some photo cards. Here is the photo card that comes with this one. This is a performing photo card. That's cute. And then there is this as the CD sleeve. And this CD also has the nut scroll of guilty with the half eating ice cream. I'm sorry, that looks like nut. I'm sorry. I'm I'm not a bad person. And if the FBI gets me, it's not my fault. He did this himself. And then the pair. And we have another film set here, but this one is a lot tamer, in my opinion. It's him pulling himself out of a pool, floating in the pool, on the side of the pool. Not too bad. Not too bad, all things considered. God, please don't let this poster be something that's going to get me in trouble. Boy, Lolita! Boy, Lolita! Don't come... Girl, don't say nothing to me. Boy, Lolita. Okay, so this photo book has a lot of the pictures of him in the pool. That is the concept we have, and a lot of pictures eating the ice cream because apparently you want to see things get going into his mouth. Um, the sweat pouring down his throat. Maybe guilty is supposed to be written in sweat. Maybe that's what they meant, is that it was supposed to be written in sweat and not actual ejaculate. But there's pictures of him at this like desert diner again, hanging out, baseball cap. Let's see what else is going on here. Him on the bicycle with the yucca plants in the background. And then that's a beautiful cactus photo. Actually, that's like really gorgeous. This photo of this cactus is super pretty. Okay, more pool pictures. Lots of pool pictures. Desert pictures. He's in the desert. Looks great. Yeah. The vibe in the desert pictures reminds me a lot of TikTok. Or not TikTok, Drip Drop. I really like these cactus photos. Like, this is almost half an art book. Like, once you get past, like, that stuff, it's really quite artful. Yeah, these are just really pretty, like, at dusk photos. Oh my gosh, that's so gorgeous. That is really pretty. These pink cactus photos are really super gorgeous. This is actually, if the cover did not look the way it did, I would say that this is the version to get. To me, the photographs in this version are my favorite so far, but that cover, for those of you who have like parents at home who look at your shit, don't don't let them see this. This is kind of PG 13ish. But yeah, that gets us where we need to go for that. So let me put all of these things back in the album. and then we'll get to the last version of the album. And if I'm not responding to your comments right now, the same shit is happening to me that happened the last time, where if you're leaving longer comments, the words are just on top of each other. It's YouTube has really been fucking with the live situation, and it's not been fun. It's not been fun. So I'm hoping that will resolve itself eventually. But right now, it's really fucking with me, because I love reading your comments, and I can't read them when I'm live because they're like all over each other. So this is the shoebox, which it looks like a shoebox. Like literally, it looks like a Nike shoebox. I think that's really super cool, because where would a teenager who does not have a lot of money keep their valuables? Probably in a shoebox under their bed. So it says guilty on the top. And then on the bottom, it's got these images. So storing this, you're going to need to be really careful. There's some more images on the side. Yeah, there's a lot of images on here. So yeah, storing this in a way that's God honoring will be interesting. Okay, so inside we have this, which looks like a burn CD. It's the CD that goes with this, but it's made to look like a burn CD, which again, if we're letting art be art, then we're to imagine that this is the shoebox where Taemin, the juvenile delinquent, is keeping his treasures, his secrets, the things that he doesn't want to be exposed, the things that he wants to keep safe, the things he wants to hide. So we've got this mixed CD that could be from a boyfriend or a girlfriend or somebody who's interested in them. Then we've got these things. They're like loose pieces. They're loose papers. They're not postcards. They're not thick like postcards, but they're like lyrics and credits and photographs. So like this is the front, and then this is the back, and there's the fucking underwear picture. That's the underwear picture I was telling y'all about, which again, like I said, what are we supposed to think with the underwear picture? And then you have another there's pictures, and then there's lyrics on the other side. So photograph and then lyrics for guilty. Then the Rizness. She loves me not. Not over you. Night away. And blue. So that's that. Then we have a photo. Oh! Wow, this has never happened to me before. I got 2 photo cards in my Taemin album. They're identical, so obviously it was a mistake, but I've only ever gotten double photo cards in one album. I once got double photo cards in a very early Monsta X album, but yeah, I got double photo cards for this. So if somebody needs this other photo card and wants to trade me for one I don't have, let me know, because I'm in a position to trade. But yeah, that's the photo cards I got. Then there's the advertisement again. And then this book, which the style of it reminds me of like a manga. It reminds me of like a manga or a manhwa or a graphic novel. So it's supposed to be like a book that he would be reading, maybe. And inside are the same pictures from both of the magazine photo books. It's not exactly the same thing. They're actually different pictures, angles, if you will, but it's the same concept photos. So it's like the bicycle photos, the swimming pool photos, the diner photos, the hotel room photos, and then the on the streets of LA photos. So it's those same photos. I didn't see any particularly spicy photos in here. These all look like just plain kind of posed photos. Maybe this photo is a little spicy, but the rest of them, it's pretty casual. Except for like, again, the fucking underwear photo. And then inside is this. this hole where you pull this out. And you know what I want to say about that? Before we even see what's underneath here, for years, I have been saying that when we get these like box, not particularly this box, but any box, whenever we get box type of packaging and it used to have like a piece of folded cardboard and the CD would be on that with like a little rubber nub, I used to always say, wouldn't it be cool if they put something underneath there as like a little surprise, because otherwise it's just wasted space. I decided to do it here. So kudos that after 10 years of asking for it, we finally got it. Thank you. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of shit in here. Okay, that didn't work. That didn't work. Okay, so you're through this hole, you're supposed to be seeing an eye. And there is an eye there. And that's supposed to tempt you to want to pull this out. But, like, I don't know, maybe because this is so washed out and faded, I don't think that the eye really came across that well. I just saw it as a hole. That's all I saw. And then there is a guilty sticker here because Taemin knows that the girls love stickers. And then there is an ID card right here for 30-year-old student Taemin. I mean, it's even got his like birthday on there, so like 30-year-old student Taemin on here. And then this is the back. But yeah, this is the ID card, which I'm glad that he didn't decide to do it where it would be like a fake birthday, because that would have been bizarre. But this says bike rental shop membership card, date of membership 14/8/15. So there you go. And I want to say, is that the date of his solo debut? Is it? I feel like it is, but I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. And then it is receipt. This is a receipt here, an itemized receipt for guilty flavor popsicle, guilty shoelace, 1 green grape, 3 printable photo paper, 1 cactus pot, 1 toy car, orange, 1 blank CDR disc, 1 Ziploc bag, 2 ice tray, 10 bottles of water, 1 macaroni and cheese, 1 4 gig ultra micro memory card, 1 bike pump. Item account 25, total $815. This makes no sense to me. I think we're supposed to be looking for these items throughout the photo books. Like, I think it's like a scavenger hunt, but every item costs $10.30. And then it says it was paid by the card holder, Taemin. And what's interesting about that is, like, if we're supposed to presume that Taemin is a teenager buying this stuff, where the fuck did this teenager get a credit card that allows them to charge $815? Like, that's a lot of money for a teenager to be messing with, at least in my opinion. But yeah, that's what the receipt is. Okay, we're gonna keep going. So now we've got these photographs, which are on photograph paper. They're not like the other paper. So this is the first one you have, which I'm not gonna lie, it's a weird photograph. I don't know exactly what I'm looking at here, partially because my glasses are for. Yeah, what is he looking at, and why is his hand like that? It's suggestive. It's suggestive. Like he looks like he's looking at somebody who is near his feet. Then there's another picture of him on the side of the bed. Nothing wrong with that picture. Looks fine to me. Then this picture is that blurry selfie we saw in the, I think in the magazine version. This is the clearer version of that blurry selfie. And then we have this postcard that says, "You got me GYLTY," while he's sitting on the stove. And then there's this here, which looks like it says it's guilty flavor. So this is the popsicle. This is the popsicle packaging. This is the packaging the popsicle came in. Yeah, it's the popsicle packaging, even though it's a messy looking popsicle, but it's the popsicle packaging. And there's a little nutrition facts there, which has the track listing. Okay, cool. Then we have one shoelace. And can I tell you, this little shoelace right here almost caused me to buy 2 copies of this album. So, like I said, I have not watched any unboxings of this particular album, but I had heard that each album came with one shoelace. And I was like, I would like to. I just feel incomplete only having one shoelace. But I didn't want to spend $60 to get a shoelace pair. So I'm not going to do it. But the shoelace says guilty all over it. It says guilty in itty bitty tiny print. It says guilty. So that's what the shoelace is. Okay, now on to these, which everyone said these are like the most spicy things. That's what I've heard. It says on the outside of the plastic, it's got the track list, and then it says, "You played the fool for me." Okay. So it's a picture of an eye, and they're all like printed on the back. And then another picture of an eye. Is this like, is this a face? Is that what that's supposed to be? Mm-hmm. And then juicy mouth again. And then hitched up shirt with what looks to be a rash right there. Mm. And then more literature. And then foot pictures for you nasties out there. And yeah, that's everything that is in this box version. You get a lot of content if you get the box version, honestly. Like, if you're somebody who's like, I'm trying to max out my K-pop dollars and I want all the stuffs, this is the version you should get because this has got the most shit in it. I don't think it's my favorite version. I still think my favorite version is probably the illicit cover version, only because of the actual pictures inside of it. I thought those were the prettiest pictures. But if we're talking about like fun concept, wanting to get like the most out of the concept, then this is the one I would go for. I think this one works out probably the best in terms of bang for your buck. Also, I got 2 fucking photo cards, so that's amazing. That never happens to me. And so I'm just putting everything back here, and that is my unboxings of all of Taemin's items. And yeah, I feel like I need to unbox something else because I can't let my FBI agent think this is what I do on the regular is look at pictures of young boys. I swear he's 30 years old. I swear he's 30 years old. So let's keep going. I do have that Key album, but I just don't know if I want to open that right now because, like I said, I have other versions coming. So I think I'm going to wait until I get more to unbox this and also to talk about Good and Great because there's actually some really good songs on Good and Great and I haven't talked about it yet. So I think I'm going to wait until I get some more. And then I got this. So I am working on a time and an opportunity to talk to you guys about all of the BTS solos. I just haven't got there. Like, stuff has been happening at work that has made it to where I just haven't had the space or the time to do that. But the time and space will be coming one day. But I want to have a version of all of them, even though I still haven't bought Jimin's because I don't wanna. But I feel like I need to do a let's go back and revisit because I think each solo says something about that particular member that maybe there hasn't been as much room to say within the confines of the group. Yet at the same time, I feel like the way that some of the albums were rolled out, the production behind them, says a lot about maybe either how that member feels about themselves or perhaps how the label feels about them. Either way, I feel like we've gotten a lot more we've gotten a lot more information about their individual artistry from these solo projects than we would have ever gotten within the group. So yeah, that's that's what I'll probably end up talking about. But I want to get my thoughts in order, because even just talking about it right now, I can tell like I was just like wildly all over the place, and I don't want to be wildly all over the place when I finally have that conversation. But I have listened to all except for Jen, because I just don't really care for Jen's music like that. But I have listened to Golden. I've listened to, what's this one called? Layover. I want to call it slow dancing, but it's called Layover. I've listened to this one. I've listened to Golden. I've listened to Jimin's album. I listened to D-Day. Of course, I've listened to Indigo. I have a whole unboxing review of Indigo. I listened to Hope in a Box. And like I said, the one I haven't listened to is Jimin. I didn't have it in my spirit to ever crack that thing open, because I just knew what it was going to be, and it just wasn't going to be me. But still, I'll give it a listen before I have that conversation. But anyway, you get this, the card shit that goes with it. I don't necessarily know what those things do, but, and then there's like, I think this is the album. I think you have to scan the QR code in order to be able to download the album. So there's that. Then there's a bunch of photo cards in here, which if you collect photo cards, this is the way to go. I don't have a lot of room to store BTS stuff anymore, so I didn't go for the larger box version of this album. I went with this one because I thought this one was cute and it fit into my storage abilities at this current time. So I think maybe all the photo cards are the same. I don't think there's anything new about them. There's this one here, and then there is this two? Is this just one? No, it's two. I just can't unstick them. This photo here, this photo here, this photo here, and this photo here. That's just one. That's just one. And then there is, oh wow, okay. There's this fat booklet, fat little booklet, fat little booklet. And then there's this skintier booklet, which I'm guessing this must be the credits and lyrics. Yeah, I was right. This is the credits and lyrics. Also, people were saying that Taemin was copying V because both of them were in a swimming pool. Like, the nonsense has got to stop. Are we now saying that if somebody is floating in a swimming pool that they own that concept? Are we really saying that? Do you know how many K-pop videos over the years have been at swimming pools? That people have been in swimming pools? Do you think this is the first individual to ever take a picture of themselves floating in a swimming pool? Why are we doing this? What, like, seriously, why are we fucking doing this? Anyway, yeah, so it's lyrics. hmm So the pictures inside of this are long dark hair, but the photo cards are shorter blonde hair. But yeah, long dark hair. Interesting. Okay. And he's in like a, I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong. There's a rock band called AC/DC, and this look reminds me of one of the members of AC/DC. It's like a red cap and like a schoolboy uniform. Feels very familiar. Now let's see what's going on in this fat little booklet. That little booklet is more of these photographs. I wonder what designer he's wearing there. I'm sure it's one of his ambassadorships, but I'm not as up on fashion as I used to be. Eating, uh, him and the dog in his costume again. Kind of a rock star look. A lot of different looks in here. I will say, I feel like very much there are a couple of similarities between this particular photo book and what Taemin's doing, in that they're all shot like candids. They're not direct eye contact with the camera. They're meant to look like they're not superposed. Like, oh, I just invited you to go along with me, and I was doing my normal thing, and somebody decided to take pictures of me, and like, oh, how quirky. I'm just a quirky little girl. But yeah, that is what's going on here. I have yet to see the video for Slow Dancing either because I haven't been watching videos like that. I've not seen any of Jungkook's videos, not a single one. I haven't seen the video for Seven, the video for 3D. I've heard the songs, but I haven't watched any of the videos. I don't know why. Maybe there's something wrong. There is something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. I just, I feel sometimes when I'm watching BTS now that I get kind of like secondhand embarrassment. I don't know why that happens. It just does. And so, yeah, I don't I don't enjoy watching their videos anymore because I feel like I'm like wanting to watch through my fingers, and I don't know where that comes from, but it's just a feeling. So I haven't watched any of these videos, so I will have to take some time to actually watch videos because I have not. I haven't been watching videos. I watched Taemin's video in order to be able to talk to you guys here, but outside of that, no, I haven't watched a lot of videos. I just haven't had time, guys. Like last week, I literally worked from around 10:30 in the morning to 9:30 at night, only taking a lunch break and taking that lunch break in my office. I have really been working because in the business that I'm in, this is our busy season. So there just hasn't been a lot of time to do anything. And because I haven't had time, like, unless I see it on Twitter, I just don't get to do a lot of stuff. Like, I don't know what the girls are doing. I have no idea what the girls are doing because I haven't been able to keep up with the girls. I know Red Velvet's got to come back. Also, there were a couple of people who tried to be shitty to me on Twitter about saying I didn't recognize Wendy's new face. And I just got this to say. I don't write the things on my Twitter for people who don't follow me. I write shit on my Twitter for me and for the people who follow me, for the people who I think could relate. But I don't ever write stuff to be like, oh, I want the world to know I'm this person's fan, or I want the world to know I'm this person's auntie. First of all, I'm auntie to very few people. Eric Nam, Amber Lou, but I'm auntie for them. But I've never been an auntie for Red Velvet. If you've been watching my channel long enough, you know I love Red Velvet. You know they are one of my biased groups. I'm not anti anything. But don't tell me that Wendy's face does not look fucking brand new. And I had somebody tell me, well, her face looks like that because she's still healing from the accident she had. And I had another person who actually follows me. I follow them back, that we actually are like know each other, who was like, is this what she looks like because of the accident? But the thing is, she had the accident and then took a year off and came back with Queendom. And I would say that in Queendom, she looked the same. She did not look dramatically different. I don't know what she would have fixed between Queendom and today that has her looking like an anime protagonist. Like her face was unrecognizable to me in the comeback photos. I've seen a couple other pictures of her from, I think she was doing a musical or something, and I got a chance to look at her face in those photographs, and I was like, okay, she looks a little bit more like herself. But then she took some other selfies to promote the Chill Kill album, and she does. There's nothing about her face that looks like Wendy from Red Velvet. Nothing. I wish that there was, but there's nothing that looks like Wendy from Red Velvet. And I hope she's okay. I'm going to put it that way. I'm not going to talk bad about her face. I don't think she has an ugly face. I don't think her face was ugly before. I don't think her face was ugly after. I thought Wendy looked just fine. I've never thought any of the girls from Red Velvet were ugly. I've never accused any of the girls from Red Velvet of being ugly. And so I never thought she had a bad face before. I don't think she has a bad face now. It's just that now Wendy has like an anime girl face. Like her face to me doesn't have anything that looks specifically like her. Her eyes are different. Her nose is super different. Her lips are inflated. Her face looks longer than it looked before. Like, she looks like a totally different person to me. And I just hope that there's nothing about herself that she dislikes that prompted this change. I hope this change is completely 100% because Wendy was like, I think I could max out my looks. Because I feel like that's the thing that the young people are doing now, looks maxing. Hopefully it's one of those things where she's like, you know what, I've got the bone structure, I've got the raw materials to make myself look like a model. And so I've decided I'm going to craft my face in that way. But I hope it wasn't prompted by, I hate the way I look. Surprisingly enough, there is actually a difference between body dysmorphia and just wanting to change yourself and look a little different, having aspirations to look a certain way will cause people to buy clothes that fit the way they want to look, will cause people to get piercings and tattoos to affirm the way that they want to look. Body dysmorphia is something is wrong with my present body and I need to do things to fix this body that does not feel like it's me. And that's why I say, like, if she just wanted to spruce things up, she wanted to get a little spicy, she wanted to do something different, that's cool. Do that. But I just don't want her to feel like, in comparing herself with other people, that she fell short and that she needed to do these things. Because she didn't. Like, Wendy girl, it wouldn't matter what you look like. It wouldn't matter if you look like me. You have your voice, and your voice is incredible. So you don't have to do any of this stuff. But yeah, we don't know what a lot of this stuff is going to look like years from now. And that has been my main concern with like tremendous amounts of plastic surgery. You know, they just put Botched on Netflix. Botched is this plastic surgery show that came out like, I want to say 10, 15 years ago, where these doctors in LA were doing corrective surgery for people who had gotten plastic surgery that was botched and caused them to have deformities, pain, nodules, just a lot of problems, right? And there was one lady that I watched on one of the episodes where she had gotten double eyelid surgery back in like the 70s or the 80s, like a long time ago. And the way that the double eyelid surgery occurred, it caused her eyes to like heal up in a way that like pulled them really far up, but it also closed up her lower lid, and it made it to where like her eyes are now like barely slits. Like, it's just, it looked like maybe the incisions they did scarred in a way that caused her eyes to be tighter. And the doctors were saying how, at this point, they couldn't do anything to help her because seeing how her body had reacted over the years to this previous surgery, they were afraid that if they kept working on her, that eventually her eyes would just try to close completely up. And a lot of the procedures and processes that people are doing nowadays are not procedures and processes that we've had a really long time. They're not stuff that we've been able to work with for a really long time to see the results. Like even silicone breast implants. A lot of you don't know this, but silicone breast implants came out, I want to say either in the late 50s or early 60s. They've been around for that long. And silicone breast implants, people didn't find out until I want to say the late 80s, early 90s that them bitches leak. Doctors knew it happened, but patients and the world didn't know them things were leaking until then. So it took them almost 30 years to figure out that people were being harmed by their breast implants rupturing, silicone gel floating through their body and making them sick. And now we've got facial fillers. We've got cheek implant fillers. We've got lip injection fillers. We've got things to fill in our wrinkles. We're breaking our nose bones to reset them to be perfectly straight and wonderful. And they look wonderful right now. They look really, really good. really good. But we don't know what a lot of these new technologies that have only been out for the last decade are going to do further in the future. When you're 40, when you're 50, when you're 60, how your body is going to age around the things you've put in your face. And that is a concern because there are a lot of people, famous people, plain people, normal people, who have had procedures that did not age well. Prime example, and I'm not saying this to be mean to her, Priscilla Presley. Priscilla Presley was the wife of Elvis Presley before he died. They divorced, separated. Um, her daughter was Lisa Marie Presley, who passed away not that long ago. And Priscilla Presley was a gorgeous, gorgeous girl, gorgeous, gorgeous woman. She was an actress in the Naked Gun movies. She had a movie career. She got some fillers from a Beverly Hills doctor that settled in her face in a way that to this day has deformed her face. And it's not me saying that she deformed her face, it's her saying it deformed her face. And it changed her look completely. And it's irreversible. So it was something that when it first happened, it didn't seem that bad, but as it settled, as it migrated, it ended up causing her to have a face that is only a shadow of what her former face was. And so that's why I say, I just hope that this is not done or prompted out of self-hatred in any way, because these things might change and you might have done more harm than good for yourself. But I don't know Wendy like that, so I'm just going to keep it back here and complain about the 19 versions of the album. That's where I'm going to keep my head at, because that is one thing that if you want to call me an anti, I'm anti-SM about the fact that it got fucking 19 ass versions of this new album. There's so many fucking versions of the new Red Velvet album. It's obscene. Like, I know, of course, I'm gonna get sulgy solo versions, but my God, why are we doing this? Why are we doing so many versions of this album? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I really wish that we could like pare this down a little bit. I know I'm gonna get one of the bags because they have like a purse version. I know I'm gonna get one of the bags, and I'm gonna get the sulgy versions. But it is crazy how many versions of this album. Maybe they're doing this because this is gonna be Red Velvet's last album. I don't know, but it just doesn't make any fucking sense. And then the last thing I'm gonna talk about before I leave doesn't really have to do with K-pop, but it kind of is on the same topic of like self-image a little bit. So I was on the TikToks and I saw this video talking about how the white boys really love this new Jack Harlow song. And about how like Jack Harlow did this song that has this lyric like, I'm vanilla baby. I won't I won't hurt you. I'll choke you, but I ain't no killer baby. I think that's what the lyric is. I don't know. I don't listen to Jack Harlow like that, to be honest with you. Anyway, apparently a lot of white boys on TikTok are using this sound to thirst trap. And there was a younger black girl who was talking about this, and in talking about that was like, I'm here for it. White girls don't do it. We're just here for the white boys. And I sent it to Jade. Jade is probably not watching right now, but I sent it to Jade. I'm like, this you? Because she loves Jack Harlow. But also, like, Jade loves, like, white boys, straight up. And I don't say that to be insulting to Jade at all. Like, Jade likes Jack Harlow. She used to love G-Eazy. Like, she keeps a white boy in the pocket. She loves Drake. So, white boy Jason. And I don't know why this popped in my mind, but it totally popped in my mind. And it has nothing to do with Jade. So I just want to make it clear. I'm telling you the origin of where my thoughts came from, but I'm not saying this is directed to my friend Jade. If you give her any kind of smoke, immediate ban. It's not going to happen. But I was thinking about the girls that, the girls and the guys that I know who are not Korean or Asian for that matter at all, who really get caught up in the looks and sex appeal of Asian idols. And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about how a lot of the people that I have known who are attracted to Asian idols are attracted to white boys, are attracted to biracial black boys, are attracted to Latino boys, but not really super attracted to like dark skinned black men. And I have talked before about how, we fetishize idols in a way that can be super uncomfortable, and we need to slow our roll about that. But I have never really thought about how some people are looking at Asian idols as sex symbols because maybe they feel like there's no material for them in the white male market, so they've moved to the Asian male market, anything but black, if you will. And I really hope that's not what's happening. I hope that's not it. And there's a lot of people who fall into this. Like back when I first started reading like K-pop fan fiction, a lot of fan fiction was labeled AMBW, which stood for Asian Male Black Woman. And it would be people who would write fan fiction using Rain, J Park, various other idols that they thought liked black girls, or at least trafficked in black music. And they would write them with a female lead character who was a black woman. And then that started crossing over into YouTube videos, and then to family vloggers and couple vloggers, where one would be a black woman and an Asian male, and their whole channel content would be about how look at us. And recently, there's been a little bit of, I wouldn't say pushback, but there's been a little bit of like, what is the result of that couple fetishizing? And there's been some high profile AMBW couples that have broken up. There's been some seeds of discord that have been spread on the internet as rumors. But more than anything, it has really shown, from the reaction of people who consume this content, it's really shown how the reason that content became so popular is because people were self-identifying, self-fantasizing about it being their turn. And I don't know. I don't have completely clear thoughts about the whole thing. Just more the idea that like you need to be realistic. Number one, dating an Asian idol would be tantamount to winning a lottery. One, because there's not that many of them compared to a whole bunch of us. But two, most Asian idols will end up with an Asian woman. Very, very few end up with a white woman. I have yet to hear about any of them ending up with a black woman or a Latino woman or, yeah. So that's probably not going to happen. But two, what what would it mean to you to have this person in your life besides having gained a prize? Is it because you want to be away from your home culture? Is it because you want to be more involved legitimately with this foreign culture? Is it that their presence in your life will validate that you actually are attractive, that you actually are desirable? Because as a black woman, I could tell you, a lot of black women get the message that they're not attractive and they're not desirable and that nobody wants them. So I get that. I will say, and I hate to sound stuck up, but I will say I have definitely had privilege, light skin privilege as a black woman. But that's meant that I've had men date me and they've asked me, is that your real hair? Do you have a white parent? If we have babies, do you think they would look like you? My own daughter, you've seen my lovely Stevie on the channel before. She's gorgeous, gorgeous girl. Well, I think I've told the story about how she was born 8 weeks early. And when she was born early, she looked very fair skinned. Like her skin was pink when she was born. And my ex husband made the statement, "Oh, maybe she'll look like you." And I told him that's not possible because my father is a darker black man, my mother is a lighter skinned black woman. You have two darker skinned black parents. Our daughter is going to have darker skin. She just looks like this because she's premature, but as she gets sun to her skin, as she gets more mature because she's premature right now, she'll favor more of your family and our family. And she did. You've seen my daughter. She's darker skinned than me. Um, but he was excited about the prospect of us having a lighter skinned child. And at that point, I remember thinking, I don't give a fuck what her skin looks like. My baby is 8 weeks early. I want her to be healthy. She was she had tubes in her stomach and up her nose when she was born. She could not breathe on her own for the first 24 hours. She couldn't eat on her own for a couple of weeks. I didn't give a damn what her skin was going to look like. I wanted to know, is she going to make it, basically. But I found myself at those times having to confront the idea that I was chosen by my partner because of my exterior. It didn't feel good. It made me feel like they didn't really see me. All the fun that we had, talking and laughing and being together and sharing commonalities because we both grew up in black households, it felt like that didn't count because it was about me being light skinned and possibly having light skinned children with this darker person. And I didn't pick that person for their skin. I've dated Arab men, I have dated white boys, I have dated several black men, several. And it just never was, I'm dating you because you are the specific gender. I'm dating, not gender, the specific ethnicity or race. I date because I find you physically attractive. Something about your face turns me on. Something about your body turns me on. Something about your personality turns me on. But I've never dated because I thought, oh, I really want to be with a white boy, or I really want to be with an Asian guy. That's never been my MO. I've just never had that. And I don't I don't think that idols think about that really. I really don't think they fucking care because, again, they're never going to be with you. They're never going to be with me. It's just never going to happen. But it's just one more layer to the kind of fetishizing, uh, dehumanizing process for idols to be like, I like them because I'm interested in not brown people that are darker brown people. I hope not. I hope not. But like a lot of people that I know who like Korean idols and Chinese idols and Japanese idols and like a little Thai idols, I'll never hear them talking about the Indian guys they like. Now, me personally, I don't really know a lot of Indian guys, so like that's my bad for not having knowledge. But yeah, hmm. Anyways, that's all. Like I said, didn't really have anything to do with K-pop, really, but it's just a conversation that was on my heart to have when I got in the car this morning, and I'm really glad I had a chance to explore that with you. I hope you're all well. I really, really do hope you're all well. I hope that with the winter coming, that everyone is warm. I hope that everyone is safe. I mean, since the last time we talked, things are just getting worse in Gaza, and like my heart goes out to the Palestinian people, really and truly. I get, again, I've said it before, I know I have a lot of Jewish people that watch my channel, and I don't think she watches my channel anymore, but there was one girl who used to watch my channel who literally lives in Israel and is Jewish. And so I don't want to seem like I'm trying to offend them because, again, like I've said before, it's about power structures being corrupt, but just the constant barrage of attacks against just ordinary citizens fucking babies. Fucking babies and old people. Starving people. Making them where they're without water. Like blowing up fishing boats because you don't want them to be able to fish. Blowing up the beach because you don't want them to have access to the salt water because you cut off their water. Just, I can't. I cannot express. I saw a video of an infant, a 1 day old baby, that had already been injured on their first day of life because they were caught up in the outskirts of a bombing. I remember watching Hurricane Katrina when it happened. Not at all a terrorist act, like literally the weather. And seeing women holding their babies. And at the time, my baby was a baby. And crying because they could not help their children. They couldn't provide them with food and water and safe shelter because the storm had knocked out their way of getting out of there. And there wasn't a lot left because of the storm wiping things out. And just feeling my heart ache. And I'm looking at these images from Gaza and I'm seeing these children and I'm seeing how they're hurt and they're scared and they're traumatized and some of them are dead. The worst video I've seen so far was a video I saw relatively early on of a man parading around the body of a headless toddler. And I just can't. I just can't understand how anyone. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about that video and I just don't understand how anybody can see any of that happening and feel like anybody should be okay with that shit. I don't see how you can see a hospital being bombed or see a refugee camp being bombed or seeing people in their homes being bombed and think, this is okay. How is this okay? How is this okay? It's not. So, yeah, I haven't necessarily tried to be neutral, but I've tried to get to the core of the issue and keep it there. But I also want to be very clear. I'm a black person, and I come from a people with a history of oppression, a history of people who cannot find their way home, who don't know where home is, and the home that they were forced to take, telling them that they don't belong here, they're unwanted, and face routine incarceration and oppression. And when I see fellow brown people suffering the same thing, just like watching those mothers during Hurricane Katrina, I can't help but put my heart in that place and think about how hopeless it feels to not have even anywhere to run. No, not even anywhere to run. They can't leave. The routes that they try to use to escape get bombed. Countries around them won't let them out. They're just there. They're just there, trying to survive. And fuck Amy Schumer all day. Her and her ilk. But I don't know. I can't be neutral. I hurt for the Israeli people whose families were killed or kidnapped. I do. But you can't say that this response has been proportional when one side holds all the fucking cards, all the cards, and have wreaked multiple times the damage. At this point, more people have been killed in Gaza than have been killed in the entire Ukrainian situation. And that's just in the last, few weeks compared to Ukraine having gone on for over a year. I don't know what to tell you, man. if you don't think that you can watch my channel because of the sympathies that I hold, I get it. I get it. I just can't see hurting people and not hurt with them. I mean, it's this strange thing called empathy. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before, but I just can't see hurting people and not hurt for them. So, with that being said, I'm going to end it here. But my heart, my heart is with Gaza because this shit is insane. We're literally watching a group of people that there is an attempt being made to wipe them from the face of the earth. Like, my God, there is an attempt being made to wipe them off the face of the earth. And as a human being, I don't know how you can see it and be okay with it. All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Bye.